there. He came off on the right side for a pretty nasty crash. He held on, though. Luckily, he had a big enough lead built up that the second-place rider didn't just blast by him. With over 300,000 of these different machines now in use, you just can't call them jet skis anymore. They're now called personal watercraft. We have 5 of them I'd like to show you. The first one, with a Dell on board, is our Kawasaki jet ski. You can either kneel or stand up. You steer by directing the stream of water out the back with this handle pole. Pretty easy to ride, huh? Next, we have a Yamaha Wave Runner. This is a little bit bigger than the jet ski, a little bit heavier. Kirsten on board. You can either sit or stand up. Comfortable in either position. We can probably ride 2 on there. What do you say? Let's give it a try. Very comfortable. I like this. Maybe I could even steer. Movable jet in the back. Again, these are all jet boats. No external propeller. Bye, Kirsten. Dawn is aboard the Bombardier Sea-Doo. This one is really meant to sit down on, but you can also stand. Again, a handlebar which moves the jet in the back. I'll climb on board if you don't mind. Very stable, even on land. This is quite heavy, about 320 pounds. And you just steer by turning the handlebars. Some of these things are pretty similar, but they're all pretty quick as well. Let's move over to the little wave there, to the wet jet. And the wet jet is strictly for sitting down. You see that it has the windshield and an aviator steering wheel. This is Cinnamon. Cinnamon, give us a little steering action there. There you go. Can I ride with you? All right. This one rides kind of low to the water compared to the Bombardier. Fixed jet in the back. This one looks like the wind would kind of come right over your head with it. Again, very comfortable for 2 people. Next, the biggest machine. This is called the Aquajet. Rita, why don't you take a ride with me? Ooh, I love when she says that. All right, I'm going to climb right on board here. Get nice and close. You know, we have a little bit more room. Cinnamon, you want to join us? Come on board. Perfect. Now I know why they call them personal watercraft.
Welcome back to gorgeous Islamorada, Florida, home today to the Busch World Cup Watercraft Championships. It is Chamber of Commerce weather, bright sunshine. Hope you're all wearing your sunblock. Some, of course, depending on what they're wearing, have to wear a little more sunblock than others, but nevertheless, we are set to go here for the Pro Freestyle. As we look at the pro women, you're looking at one of the best, Patty Mogan from Fort Myers, Florida, and she has a chance really here to jump into the lead with a good performance.
She does not race in slalom. She doesn't do closed course. Freestyle is her love. It's her specialty as she does a pirouette there, one arm up in the air.
Gotta love that.
You bet. It's quite a story. Just 2 weeks ago, we
Look at this. Oh,
nice transition. She was a novice just 2 weeks ago. She went pro the following day. She won the event, and she's been really performing top freestyle ever since.
Patty Mogan put on a show here, and the judges, as you can see, appreciative of it. 1 over 9, a lot of 8 and 8-9 there, so she ought to do real well here in the scoring. Reagan Cole, another lady from out west, South Lake Tahoe, Nevada. I guess they've got a lake out there. I've heard of it once or twice.
You bet. Beautiful place to practice freestyle, and she's also one of the top competitors in closed course.
And she'll try her luck here in the pro women's freestyle.
Unfortunately, last week she had to miss the event in Pompano due to some commercial commitments, but she's back here at Islamorada, and she's a strong young lady, great personality, and as you said, freestyle is a chance to bring out that personality. Hot dog a little bit for the crowd. Warm up to those judges. It's the only time when the crowd really gets to see all these pretty gals without their helmets on.
Right. Full bore towards the crowd and then turning around with a nice spin move.
Trying to get the crowd into it here. She succeeds nicely. 360, you know, that looks a lot easier than it really is. That 360 with the hand off, you have to have a lot of strength to do that. Just to bring you up to date, our leader, Patty Mogan, with a 43.1. In second, Dawn Mad Dog Wood with a 40.9. In third is Tina Martinez, 37.6, and Carolyn Pittman with a 37.1.
Nicely done for Reagan Cole. We'll come back to the staging area and wait for the decision of the judges. She has to beat 43.1. That is the mark to beat for Reagan Cole.
You hear a lot of whistling going on in the crowd, Ken, and not surprising. The long blonde hair, all-American gal out there, Christy Carlson.
Spring Valley, California, home for Christy. We have seen her early on in the program, and now we'll get to see a little bit of her personality.
Christy, 18 years old. And she slides in under the judges with one hand. Little problems there negotiating out of that turn. Nudges the log jump a little bit.
Little salute. And the pirouette.
That was a good bulldog maneuver. She grabbed the air scoop with her left hand and spun around on the hood cover, turning around. Got to keep your speed up when you're up there. Of course, more weight to the front, the harder it is to maintain your balance.
And she is really maintaining it well. Just that little maneuver. Oh, look at that.
Headstand.
Oh, my.
You notice how quickly Christy goes from one trick to the other. She does sort of a pattern back and forth, passes in front of the judges.
Right.
Watch this, a barrel roll coming up.
Oh, man. Ho-ho.
She's something else. Never letting off the throttle. Watch, now she's going to show her balance. She turns to the side, and she takes a bow.
Well, the judges have to love that. We'll wait for their scoring, but Christy Carlson with the show of the day right here. So with Mom and Dad looking on, it is Christy Carlson who finishes first. She averaged 9. Her final score was 45.9. In second place, Patty Mogan from Fort Myers at 43.1. In third place today to Reagan Cole from South Lake Tahoe. Todd Everhart on the course now as we move into the Pro X2 freestyle. See, oh, look at the spin move. And as you can see, these move a lot quicker, these particular ones, the Pro X2, than the white bikes. Little 360.
These are the machines that we talked about, Ken. They're a little bit wider. You can put your feet more to the back of the pad, kind of lean over them. I love watching freestyle with the X2s. You can do a heck of a lot of tricks.
How about that?
Tail spin.
Tell you what, he gets that going, he may take off for the moon.
It looks like the space shuttle, doesn't he? Everhart, a great young rider. He's 17 years old.
And now up on the front. And again, oh, look at the spin move.
Backflip over the handle pole.
Looked like Kurt Thomas on water with that one. And he has to maintain the throttle. I think that's the impressive thing, is his hands still have to maintain the throttle when he does all of that. A nice performance for Todd Everhart from Davie, Florida. Well, here he is, all of 90 years old, George Burns. Oh, that's the other George Burns. This George Burns is from Plantation, which is not too far from where we are today in Islamorada, and this guy can really play, can't he?
Compared to a lot of the other guys, he feels like 90 sometimes. He's only 28, but when you've got youngsters like Everhart at 17 and McCluggage at 16, he sort of is the old man of the sea out there.
Well, he comes for the spin in front of the judges, and you know, they have to pack so much into such a short span of time. I don't think that we can overemphasize that. Oh! And a free shower for the fans.
Blasted somebody off their chaise lounge here at Holiday Isle.
Well, I don't think he'll splash the judges, but I like that where they play to the crowd more than the judge.
Watch this trick. Grabs the nose over the front of the boat and comes out back by the jet. That is a neat trick. 45.7 posted by Everhart, the score he's trying to beat. Look at that, he comes out of it backwards, Ken. 15 seconds now. Having having some engine difficulty there. He's got it cranked.
Starts it up after the stall, and let's see.
He's a crane operator when he's not jet skiing. And he's operating out there and does a mini sub.
And right in front of the judges to boot.
George Burns out of Plantation, Florida.
And back in to the pit area. Nicely done, George Burns.
Yeah, that one miscue, but I think you're going to see some high scores over 9 from the judges.
Yeah, 9-2 and 9-3. I think Mr. Burns will be up around 45 when it's tallied up.
A 45-7 is the score he's trying to beat, posted by Everhart.
Here are your final results now in the men's Pro X2. First place, George Burns from Plantation, Florida. Probably smoke a big old stogie celebrating that tonight. Second place, Todd Everhart from Davie. And our third place contestant today is Chris McCluggage with 44.7 as his point total. Christy Carlson, always the big story when the pro women get together, and I guess she's got to be the lady to beat at this point, Mark.
A few years ago, there was a pro woman racer named Brenda Burns. When I saw her race, I said, that girl's going to be on top for a long time. Christy Carlson came along and dethroned her. She was the world champion last year, and it looks like she's going to be that way again in 1990. She's literally run away from the rest of the pack. She's got slalom down. She's got freestyle down. And wait till you see her blast off the line here in closed course.
Well, the name should be familiar if you follow this sport. There's, of course, Dawn Wood, Mad Dog as they call her, Carolyn Pittman, Tina Martinez, Reagan Cole, all in this field now to battle against Christy Carlson for the top spot in pro women's.
The girls are revving the engines, feathering the throttle. The guys are digging their feet in and holding back the boats as much as they can. You can see these girls get some pretty strong big guys down there on the line.
Now it appears that someone needed a jump start. It looked like Tina Martinez had a little trouble at the line, but now she appears to be completely out of it.
And we have a clean start, and as we predicted, it's Reagan on the inside, Christy on the outside. As they go around that big marshmallow buoy, it is Reagan Cole that got the whole shot. Boat number 5 never made it off the line. That's right. Tina Martinez, but
she's off now. She just got a real late start. Obviously, that's not going to help.
Oh, Reagan Cole faltered a little bit, and Christy Carlson trying to make her move after just 4 buoys, and she does.
Oh, they are neck and neck.
Reagan Cole, though, went right over a buoy, and she's going to have to go back and pick it up. So Christy Carlson now has clear water in front of her. She does not have to negotiate the log jump. And now we have boat number 6, Dawn Mad Dog Wood, who has moved up into second, right in front of Raging Reagan Cole. And she's raging now, I'll tell you, Ken.
Dawn, not too far from here, from North Miami, Florida. So it was not a tough road for her to hoe coming down here.
Dawn makes the national tour all year long, but this show is going to belong, I believe, to Christy Carlson. And Dawn Wood is in second place, but she goes down, and Reagan Cole in the final lap does take over second place. We had Dawn back in third, I think, and now Reagan Cole is in second. Jiz with 2 buoys to go, pulling up on a lap rider, number 9. And she's going to be looking at a double checkered flag.
Yes, Christy Carlson. The prettiest sight in racing is the checkered flag, and she has taken it here this afternoon at Islamorada.
Now you can bet her mom and dad are on the property, or...
Oh, they're watching, you know that.
Oh, they're psyched. Come from a long way, a lot of expense and time invested in this type of racing, but she's such a good young person. Look at that, she throws her goggles to the crowd.
Don't need those anymore this afternoon.
Or this season. That's the last close course race she'll be in.
Well, Mark, let's go back and let's pick it up from right where Christy took the lead in that race, and I think we can see right here just the kind of technique she has as a driver.
It didn't take her long after the first turn buoy. Her and Reagan Cole were really on the gas, and Reagan let the door open a little bit for her, and Christy slid right in, and from there it was her race.
Well, as we had talked about all through the show, this event today really is the crowning event. This is where the champion will be crowned, and I think it's a good time right now to take a look at where the points leaders are right now. Let's take a look as we see Jeff Jacobs in first place coming into this next event that will probably determine who the Pro Men's champion will be. Jacobs in first place with 253 points, but right on his tail is Chris Fischetti, the Fish, with 248. So you can see just 5 points separating those two. In third place, Victor Sheldon. It has not been a particularly good afternoon for Victor, but he can make up a lot of ground here in this next race. Ready for the start. And as soon as they drop the line, we'll go. There you see number 1. That is Jeff Jacobs with a slim 5-point lead over Fischetti.
If a holder has his hand up on the line, that means he's having problems. Everybody looks good now. And believe me, nobody wants to jump. If they do, it's all over for them.
There it is.
And they're off.
Fair start, too.
John Stevens, boat 1X on the inside, got off to a killer start, and that would be a big upset. He can screw it up for both Jacobs and Fischetti, and Jacobs has the outside position, trying to get by Stevens. Fischetti looks like he's back in third, Ken. 12 laps, anything can happen. There's a 1X and a 1. Right. John Stevens being the X2 national champ. He gets 1X, and Jeff Jacobs, of course, with just a number 1. Let's see how they negotiate the log jump.
First time over it, Stevens negotiates cleanly, as does Jacobs.
Jacobs having some problem, and we have a great race set up with Chris Fischetti back in third.
Now, remember the earlier race when Jacobs went over and wiped out. He did not seem to take the same kind of air that time. Maybe he learned his lesson.
He was much more conservative that time around. He slowed down. He just kind of bumped over the log jump. And now they're setting up, Ken, for the back straightaway. This is where you'll see Jacobs really accelerate to try and catch it. This is unbelievable out of Orlando. John Stevens got the whole shot. Of course, he had the pole position, and that's to his advantage.
Right-hand turn, again, the yellow buoys, right-hand turns. The red buoys signify left-hand turns. And when you're going at 50 miles an hour a clip, that's an accomplishment just to keep that in mind.
Jeff Jacobs holding down second. Fischetti, though, knows that if he can get by Jacobs, the World Cup could be his. I mean, everybody wants to win the big pro mod race, but they more importantly want to win the World Cup.
All right, now, I have to believe that Fischetti knows the psyche of Jeff Jacobs. What do you figure Chris is going to try and do right now? Do you think he's going to lay back and maybe let Jacobs just kind of set the tone, or do you think Fischetti's going to go up and grab him anytime soon?
There is no way you can let a three-time world champion like Jeff Jacobs just get away. You have got to be on the gas the entire time. I have to be honest with you, I think Jacobs' skis are a little bit quicker.
Jacobs first, Fischetti second. Fischetti's got to start making up some ground as we pass the halfway point in this race already.
Well, the funny thing is, Jeff Jacobs, if he holds on to second, will win the World Cup. But I know him. I've known him for a long time. He is not going to settle for that. He wants to win this race. This is Pro Mod. This is the big event of the day. And there's no doubt in my mind that he's thinking about World Cup, but right now he wants to win this event.
Look at how close they are. He's liable to catch him in the next straightaway.
Now, John Stevens doing the right thing and pushing him further to the outside. They come upon the double reds, and this is an opportunity for Jeff Jacobs to take the inside. John Stevens is going to go down, it looks like. He comes back up. Jacobs went down, and now he's up, and the lead goes to Jeff Jacobs.
Well, they both seem to hit the water at the same time, and Jacobs comes up better for wear.
Now Fischetti is in second, so Stevens goes from first to third in one buoy. Now let's see if
Fischetti can make up some ground here with Stevens apparently for the moment out of the way.
Well, the sign of a true champion is consistency, and that's something that Jeff Jacobs has definitely shown us today. We're under the white flag now, Ken.
1 lap to go. And Jacobs takes it with the lead. Fischetti about 4 seconds behind.
Both of these guys with their bright neon life jackets. You know, normally Jeff Jacobs will be wearing a wetsuit just for protection of his body, but with the heat out here today, it's got to be 150 degrees inside those things. So he's now just wearing his shorts. Chris Fischetti still fully clothed in his wetsuit. Jet pilot gear. And these guys are piloting their way through the last half of the Pro Modified closed course.
And we're coming down the home stretch now. A couple of more turns for Jacobs to negotiate. And when he does, he will be the champion. There is no question about it now. Jeff Jacobs en route to the championship. Fischetti on his tail, giving him a little push, picking up a couple of seconds. But barring anything on this jump, Jeff Jacobs will win it all, and he does. Fischetti finishes second, but your champion is Jeff Jacobs.
A fine race. You got to give both riders a lot of credit. They had to get by John Stevens. They had a lot of lap riders to contend with. Chris Fischetti never gave up. He was not far behind at the finish.
The Busch World Cup Watercraft Championship has been brought to you by Busch Beer. Head for the mountains of Busch Beer. And by Burger King. If you want to give people what they want, sometimes you just got to break the rules. Well, now we arrive at, I guess, the premier event of the day. This is a $10,000 race. It features some of the top competitors in personal watercrafting. And I think, yeah, you're going to recognize these names. Certainly Larry Rippenkroger is here. But more importantly, this really highlights the driving skills of these guys because they're all driving the same kind of craft.
Exactly. This is the brand new Yamaha Superjet. As they're lined up on the starting line, you see the design, the gray and yellow on the decals. These guys have been chosen because of their familiarity with the Yamaha Superjet. It's in its first year of production.
$10,000 in prize money, but it's evenly distributed. Everybody will wind up with something in this race, but the winner will walk away with the lion's share.
Exactly. 10 grand. It's one of the highest paying events ever, and you got to figure the lighter that the racer is, the easier it's going to be for him to get out front. So Matt Allagood and Chris McCluggage, I think, kind of have an advantage here. They've also been on the Superjets a little bit more than the other guys.
Well, young Matt, let's talk about the Superjet. You say it's a new type of craft. What distinguishes this then from some of the others we've seen today, like in the Pro Modified and things like that?
Well, the Superjet is the latest entry into personal watercraft by Yamaha. Yamaha came out with the Wave Runner and the Wave Jammer, more of a sit-down model, more of a two-passenger craft. The Superjet is more of a stand-up model.
It looks like Jammin' Jeff is about ready to make his move here.
Oh, on the inside, it's Jacobs. On the outside, Allagood. Jacobs really trying to push Allagood out of the way, but Allagood, a nice move.
Yes, sir.
And Jacobs goes down. A lot of people here from Florida would love to see Matt Allagood, whose family is also here in the crowd, take home a good part of that $10,000 cash purse. And the big Yamaha Jet Pilot Race of Champions here at the Busch World Cup featured event. It's an invitational.
How do they get here?
Well, these machines were trucked down from the factory. Again, Allagood pulls up, trying to straighten his back to release some of the tension there. Machines were brought down from the factory, identically prepared by one of their mechanics. Of course, all the racers are here competing anyway, except for Rippenkroger and Watkins, who were flown in specifically for this event. Again, I see Allagood continuing to straighten up. He's definitely showing signs of tiring. You see it there on a turn. He must have maybe like a muscle spasm in his lower back. He's got to pull back a handful of that throttle. He's losing speed every time he does that.
You know, you can also see Jacobs pulling up too a little bit, perhaps winded at this point. But
what a move! An incredible move by Jeff Jacobs on the far right side of the track. Allagood had straightened up. He was making a turnaround, those double reds, and he was a little bit far outside, opened up the door, and Jacobs slid right past him on the inside.
So Jacobs watching Allagood stand up a little bit too, picking his moment and making the most of it. And there he is, Jammin' Jeff.
You know, you can almost sense it. I didn't want to say anything to jinx Matt Allagood, but you could sense that he was waiting for the kill there, waiting to move from second into first. Matt Allagood, nonetheless, running a very strong race, able to keep off the three-time world champion, Jeff Jacobs, for that long.
Final seconds of this race coming up now. We've got a right-hand turn coming up for Jeff Jacobs. He'll come back along to the left and then take the dash home, and Jeff Jacobs will win this race. The Race of Champions, first ever, is pulled in by Jeff Jacobs. Phenomenal performance today for Jeff Jacobs in the Race of Championship. Matt Allagood, the local favorite, the hometown, the home state hero, I should say, finishes second. But the day belongs to Jeff Jacobs, who puts the dot on the perfect I. Christy Carlson and Jeff Jacobs, the queen and the king of this sport, at least here today on Islamorada. Mark Lauber, thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
It's been a pleasure, Ken.
Well, that'll do it here from Islamorada. The Busch World Cup Championships are over, and it has been a wonderful afternoon. This has been a presentation of Bud Sports. aired through the facilities of ESPN. So long, everybody.